Hello and welcome to episode 7 of Assetto Corsa. And today we're going to do something slightly different, and we're going to be looking at what we feel is good in Assetto Corsa and what we feel could do with some improvement in Assetto Corsa. We're not going to be looking at content in the sense of we want more cars, we want more tracks. That's a completely different topic. What we'll do is we'll also leave a race running in the background for you to enjoy. Let's get on with it. Right, so now that we've got the race set up and we're underway, we're going to start with the goods of Assetto Corsa. And the first point that we'd like to mention is the tyre model and the physics model. Starting with the tyres, I really like the way the tyres are modelled and handled in Assetto Corsa. For each car you've got a whole different set of tyres, ranging from street to semi-slicks, full slicks. Depending on the car, even the 1950s cars, we've got the old Lotus tyres which have been modelled as best as they can. The Formula 1 cars have their own set of tyres, etc, etc. Each tyre, they've got tyre temperatures, wear, they've got a dirt collection tyre, the accumulation. So that's one thing that Kunos have done really well. And that's generally what I expected, because they've been doing this well before in Ferrari Virtual Academy and Netcar Pro. Brings us on to the physics. All this tyre talk, it really ties in very well with the physics. The physics engine on this game is, well, fantastic. There's lots and lots of tuning options. You can fine-tune your suspension, your gear ratios, etc, etc, and it allows you to make your car your own, just like you would in a real race car. And again, that's really, really important in a simulator. The way the cars handle is very, very realistic. You've got body roll, you've got movement over the bumps, etc. The car can actually lift up on two wheels. It's all good. I really like it, and I think that that is the biggest deciding factor for me when I purchased this game. Next off, we're going to go to our second good point, and that's the tracks and the car's accuracy. Now, starting with the cars, even though yes, the cars are limited, I'd say that the limited cars that we have are very, very detailed. I mean, you can just see in this video, this is the GT2 BMW. You can see that the HUD is detailed, the steering wheel itself, all the buttons are in there. You've got the RPM indicator, even the windows, you can see there are two little slot gaps for the air. It's all highly detailed, looks great. Exterior, interior, both fantastic. Brings realism to a whole new level in this game. Moving on to the third point, we'll talk about the menu system. Now, even though we don't spend much time in the menu system, Kunos have definitely made sure that the bare minimum time is spent. They know that people who buy this game and people who want to play in this game want to be in there for the simulator. They don't want to be going around clunky menus. So they've made a very, very slick interface. It's fast to use, it's very well coloured, the palette isn't too overpowering, nice dull greys and reds. And the great thing is that you can jump into the sim from anywhere just by pressing the start button in the corner. It's very simple, it's not cluttered, and everything is split apart in such a way that if you want to select a car, you just click a button and there's your car list. You want to select a track, click a track button, there's your track list. You're ready, press start, off you go. Absolutely brilliant. The fourth point we'd like to mention now is the apps design. Now, there isn't much to talk about on this, but what I would like to say here, and I think it's very important, is the fact that the apps, you can move wherever you want. So you can see here that I've got these two third-party apps and the pedals app up. Now, I can move them wherever I want, depending on how I want to race. As well as that, I can get rid of them if I don't want them. For some races, you may want to have certain apps up. For other times when you're hot lapping, you don't need these apps. Assetto Corsa allows you to get rid of them, put them back on, drag them around, put them wherever you want, and that's very good. It helps with the immersion, and it helps everyone make their simulator the best experience for them, and that's really important. Now, even though this is sort of relating to an app, I'd like to put this as a separate point. So this is our fifth point, and that's the field of view movement. Now, accessible through an app when you actually get in the simulator, it allows you to set the position of your head. So whether you want it to the left, to the right, up and down, you want your head tilted forwards, backwards, and it also allows us to change the field of view. And that's really important, because on the different cars, you might want a different field of view so you can see the mirrors, and depending on where your screen is, you want to have a different field of view. The reason for this is that when you're simulator driving, you want to have the correct depth perception, and you want to have the sense of speed, but you still want to be able to see what you should be seeing in real life. Some games have limited field of view options. In this one, being a simulator, it really has brought it to a whole new level where you can adjust it by 0.5 of a degree. Absolutely great. I really like it. And the other great thing about it is each individual car has its individual setting. So for this BMW, I may have one setting. For the Formula 1 cars, I may have another setting. And it works either way. Really, really good. That brings us on to our last point, last good point should I say, and that is the ease of modding. Now, you've seen, even in this video, we've got some mods active. In our past videos, ever since episode 3, we've had mods. It's very easy to create new contents, especially tracks. Apps as well, very, very easy to make. You can see the two apps that we've got here, and they bring a whole new dimension to Assetto Corsa because some of the apps are smaller, they look better, they may be interfacing better, etc., and it really, really looks good. And with the recent release of the SDKs, it's really easy to implement it in the game, especially the track SDK, which has been out for about 4 weeks now. You create a track, you add the shaders, you make sure everything's working fine, and it gives you the same ability to create a track that the actual developers at Kunos have. And that's really, really good. I like that. That brings us to the end of our good points. Now it's time to move on to the bads. And unfortunately there are a few bad points. So let's start with the multiplayer booking system. Now, I understand the need for a booking system, but it's very, very difficult to get into, and I think the system doesn't seem to work well all the time, so that needs to be something they really need to look at. I can understand why they've done it, you know, to stop people bringing in young kids who just want to crash around and things like that, and you're going to get that, and it's a good way to block it, but eventually they'll still get in, and those of us who actually want to race properly sometimes get stuck. And because of that, I have to rate it down for the booking system, and the multiplayer I generally avoid, even though when you do get in, it can provide a fantastic experience. Now, the second bad point I have to mention would be the trackside objects. Now, you're looking at this track, it's quite decent, you can see some cloud, you see the trees, etc. The trees aren't too bad, they are low poly, but I can understand that. You want to keep the frame rates high, you can't have high poly trees, etc. But maybe a static crowd, it would be nice to have a more dynamic crowd. I know that they've included now fluttering flags, etc. But a more dynamic crowd would be quite nice. Again, I could say that that's probably a minor niggle. You should really be focusing on the track anyway. But it's something that adds a bit more to the realism, a bit more to the immersion. You know, having a streak of an aircraft flying overhead even, something like that, that'd be quite nice because that is what you would see in real life while you're racing. The other thing that I have to mention, and this is the third bad point, is the lack of weather effects and sort of time. So we're talking about night racing here. Now, if we start with the weather effects, there is a weather mod that we've got on here, so it's giving me this nice cloudy, dull, gloomy winter's day appearance. And it's nice to race in, but generally, all we get is a bright sunny day with a few whispers of clouds. And that's not what all races are like. As a matter of fact, it's not what many races are like. They cloud over, you get rain, which again doesn't exist in here. In some races you even end up with snow depending on the race. I'd like to see some of that. I'd like to see some weather effects, I'd like to see overcast, different levels of clouds, some rain, I'd like to see snow, okay maybe not, fog would be nice. And overall I think that would really help bring the simulator to a close in a sense. Because it make it very, very interesting when you're driving, especially if dynamic weather was implemented, such as what you've got in Gran Turismo 6 Formula 1 2013. As well as that, night racing, that'd be really good. The problem with that is at the moment I've noticed the lighting does not light up the track. So the lights that you have in the car doesn't light up the track, and obviously that would be unacceptable for night racing. But something that they can think about. My fourth point would be the lack of same discipline cars. Now, I'm racing in GT2 here, and all I've got is one BMW. And if I was to race GT3, I've only got two cars, the McLaren and the BMW Z4. I don't mind that they haven't got that many cars, but it would be nice to have maybe 3 or 4 cars of the same discipline to give us a bit more of a varied grid and a bit more of an exciting race. So that's something that I'd like to see. Maybe that will be implemented in the future with them adding in a few other cars. I really don't know, but if they do, that is something that I think would make this simulator great. Last but not least, realism. So we're talking about pit stops and things like that. We could do with some pit stops, your pit crew, that'd be nice. Engine failures, brake failures, things like that, it'd be all very, very good. Tyre blowouts, that'd be interesting to have. If you overheat a tyre, I tried this, I really wore out a tyre, overheated it, and it still didn't blow out, so that'd be quite nice to have. And visual damage, I'd say it's not necessary, but it does bring a level of immersion. And last but not least, and I think this is very, very important, flags. I think it's very important to have flags in the race, because when you're doing a long distance race, or if there's a crash ahead of you, yellow flags, even a red flag occasionally, blue flags when you're overlapping, white flags if you want a slow car, etc. I think all of that would actually bring the racing in this game to a whole new level. And I think putting in all of those, it would complete Assetto Corsa. That brings us to the end of this video. If you liked what we had to say, and if you agree or don't agree, please leave a comment in our comments box. Like this video, subscribe to our channel. Next week we're going to be looking at a whole new car, the first car mod out, and that'll be the Corvette Daytona prototype. We look forward to seeing you then.